Guys, what is up? Today we are filming at a destination. We're at one of our scoop shops. Might be one of the last times we post content from here. So,
wow, that's telling. I was going to publish this tomorrow, Megan.
What?
I was going to publish this tomorrow.
What's wrong with that? It's publicly listed for sublease.
That's true. It is publicly listed for sublease, guys. As of about a week ago. So, if you would like to have your very own old gelato shop, old cookie dough shop, old building, we put in a new AC last year, and it's going to last another 15 years.
So anyway, we're doing our podcast from our store today. I am having some serious allergies today, so please ignore my stuffiness. We're going to talk about a couple different things today. So I wanted to start out by talking about the advice that we give to people when they want to start a business. I feel like a lot of people come to us and are like, I have this idea, or like, I want to launch this product, etc., etc. We also just happen to speak to a lot of people who have considered starting their own business, and I feel like my advice over the years has kind of changed some. So I want to hear from you first. Like, what advice do you typically give people when they say they want to start a business?
Yeah, so I'm going to shout out one of my favorite podcasts that everyone should listen to, the All In podcast. I was listening to that podcast 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, and David Freeberg, who's one of the hosts and entrepreneurs, said this point that then it kind of stuck with me, and I've started saying it, which is that when people ask him about starting a business or any of this other stuff, he tells them not to. His advice is straight up don't. And his theory behind it and the thought process behind it makes a lot of sense to me. It was that in order to get going with your business, in order to take it to the next level, in order to raise funding if you have to do that, in order to get customers, in order to tell people that they buy the product, you're going to get a lot of no's, and you're going to get a lot of people that tell you not to do the thing. And so if you don't have the ability to delusionally go past people telling you not to do it, then you probably shouldn't even do it in the first place. You're not going to get a lot of encouragement. In the real world, people aren't going to be like, oh, yay, you. I mean, you might get some nonsense from your friends and family, but those are the same friends and family that told Megan to keep doing No Baked as a pop-up shop and stay at the farmer's market and not grow, because they don't want to see you fail. At the end of the day, your family and friends want to see you succeed, and that means that they're going to be risk adverse on your behalf. And I think, you should probably tell most people not to do it. The second point, and the other point that David Freeberg had made, was that most people aren't cut out for this.
Yeah.
I don't think they are. The stats about small businesses failing every year, I think, are juiced, and they're kind of nonsense. And my thought behind that was that they're nonsense because, people just quit. Most of the people I know that have not continued on have just quit. They don't go bankrupt or get forced out or anything like that. All right, before we get back to the show, I'm going to do a little bit of ad reading. If you guys need working capital, I have a solution for you. It's called Wayflyer. If you need working capital for your growing CPG, D2C business, and you don't know what to do, give us a call and we will connect you with Wayflyer. We have friends there and they want to help you out. Now, back to the show.
All right. So before that, we were talking about advice that you give people who are wanting to start a business. And you mentioned the fact that most people don't really have what it takes to get through the hurdles and to do it without having a bunch of people saying they can do it.
Yeah, usually, like we said, most people in the beginning will kind of support you and encourage you, and then because they don't really want to see you fail, they will encourage you to then not take risks, which are pretty necessary when you're actually starting your own business.
Yeah.
Should I unplug that refrigerator?
No, I think it's fine.
All right, cool.
So when people used to ask me like what my one piece of advice was for, people who wanted to start their own business or whatever. I would always say that my advice was to just do it. And I would always say that, like, people always have reasons for not jumping and for not diving right into it. And when I started No Baked, I really ignored all of the reasons and was like, I'm just going to go in, I'm just going to do it. But, excuse me. But as time has gone on, I feel like I've spoken to a lot of people who want to start a business that maybe they shouldn't. And I didn't used to feel that way. I used to think, you could probably make anything work. But as I was saying, I used to think, like, I'm sure you could make most businesses work. Like, there's always a customer for whatever product it is that you're trying to sell. But as I've spoken to more people who want to start a business, I don't think that's the case anymore. Like, sometimes I will speak to someone or we'll hear about a product and I'll be like, I don't think that's going to work. Like, I don't think there's a market for that. I think these people have a bunch of money and see other people doing a product business and just say, I want to do that too. But there's no real like product market fit. There's no testing. There's no like.
Yeah, that's one of those things that people, I think, get wrong as well, is like when you go to talk about product market fit, it's across all industries, like whether you're doing tech or you're doing healthcare or like whatever the thing is, like you're selling cookie dough. We still have struggled to find like true product market fit. Yeah. And I think people really don't understand, like, product market fit means like you're just selling more of the thing and you don't even know why. Like, you don't have a sales funnel, you don't have marketing. People are just clamoring for your product and they're buying it, and you aren't really spending much time or effort trying to systemize a marketing funnel or a sales funnel because your product is just that good. Usually product market fit, if you truly have it, can get you to like $10 million in revenue.
Yeah.
Maybe not with like a CPG product. We sell a pretty low dollar item, but like in tech for sure, like if you have like good product market fit, like your SaaS company should get to like 10 million in revenue without having like professional salespeople. Yeah. It should just be like the CEO being like, hey, I have this like software, it seems to work. Would you like to buy it? And people are like, I would. Because it really solves a problem.
So I think my advice has kind of changed some. I think instead of telling people to just do it, I kind of want to tell them all of the bad things about it first. And if they still feel like they want to do it and they feel like they have a product that really resonates with some group of people, then I, of course, don't think it should be overthought. But a lot of times, like, when I see businesses close down or, founders say that they're calling it quits, my first thought is not like, oh, well, your product just wasn't good enough. My first thought is, oh, you didn't have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, because it's extremely hard. It's very disheartening. You have to sacrifice a lot all the time. It's not like instant gratification. It's not a bunch of success. It's not easy. And I think it really takes a certain type of person to be able to get through it without calling it quits. So
you have to be really, really willing to essentially like eat glass for like 15 years. Like with like nothing good. And also on just the operational side, like the way that an organization works, like the problems get filtered like up to you, and in the beginning, because you don't have any employees, you're just getting all the problems. So you get decision fatigue really quickly. And then even on the back end of that, once you've scaled, like you just get the worst problems that nobody else can solve. So like if one of our, like we have multiple managers that manage the scoop shops. And then it seems that whenever like the worst of the worst things happen, they get back to Megan. And then it like drags on like your mental energy, because it's like, it's never something that's simple.
Yeah.
It's usually something complicated that there is no good answer to. And such is life. But like, yeah, it's not ever going to be easy. And I don't think it's easy for anyone with any business in any industry. especially not upon startup. Like, you could probably go out and like buy or acquire a small business, and it will be pretty easy in comparison to going from scratch. But
yeah, so I think I agree with your advice of like, maybe don't do it, because if a person can hear like, oh, don't do it, or like it's really hard, or it's not going to be fun, and then still make the decision, then they probably will be able to get through it.
yeah, I mean, it's an indicator. I don't know if they'll get through it.
Yeah.
It's an indicator of their mindset on that specific day.
I mean, sometimes I don't know how we get through it, to be honest, but if you have a certain mindset, I think you can get through it, even in the trenches.
I'm pretty hard to break. So speak for yourself.
Oh, I think I'm harder to break,
buddy.
Usually when you're sad and like hopeless,
no, I'm just moody.
Like, look, here's what we're gonna do, and
yeah, I'm just moody.
I dig us out of the.
But I'm not gonna quit
mentally, and you do it physically.
Sure. We'll go with
that. So if you actually want advice from us on starting a business, you can always reach out to us, because I think our advice at this point would be a little more specific based on who you are and what you want to do. That's how I feel.
Yeah, for sure. And I would probably tell you just don't do it. Unless you have like this incredibly compelling idea and vision, and you feel like you know exactly how you're going to go about doing this thing. I personally am probably going to tell you, like, please don't. Because I know how that's going to go. And most people aren't really willing to like risk a lot in their lives. I find that to be interesting, because like when we started, we were 23, and we're even more risk adverse now than we were then. But we're still pretty heavy like gamblers. Like, I feel like if you weren't the type of person, this is you with a 9-to-5 job, like right now, before you decide to start a business. If you're not the type of person who would take a significant amount of money, so significant, let's say like a month's worth of pay. I don't know how much money you make, but like, let's make it relative. A month's worth of pay, like what you make in a month, and you wouldn't take that and play poker with it, you probably shouldn't start a business. That's like, because you will put yourself in situations that feel like that quite often. And if you're not the type of person that's completely comfortable with that or gets invigorated by it, you should probably not. Because that's, I mean, Megan likes to say that investing is gambling, but like it kind of is. It's informed gambling. There's people that play poker professionally.
Yeah, there are.
Some of them are called venture capitalists. So yeah.
All right. So there's a couple of hot topics that have happened this week. Specific to CPG, we're going to talk about Foxtrot, and not specific to CPG, we're going to talk about TikTok. Yeah. So let's start with Foxtrot. If you're listening from outside of the consumer goods section,
probably don't even know who these people are.
Foxtrot is or was a small chain of grocery type.
They're C-stores.
They're like
with no gas station.
Yeah, like high-end snack stores is how I would describe it. Very small footprint. Started in Chicago, expanded. I think they had 25 locations-ish.
33.
Oh, 33 locations between them and their other concept that they had.
Doing a whopping, let's see, 130 million in revenue last year. That's bad. If anyone here is listening from the consumer space, like, you know, a grocery store, a good one, will do like 20 by itself. So if I had 33 grocery stores, I would be making $1 billion. That math doesn't work out, so don't check me on that. But like, it'd be a lot of money. It would be close to $1 billion. These guys actually lost. They came in under their projected sales in 2023. They were projecting 165 million. By the way, this company raised $100 million in 2020.
Is that their only fundraising to date?
No.
Can you walk us through the past?
So, our good friends at Outfox Hospitality. It's just the dumbest name for what just happened. I'm sorry.
Did you say Outfox?
Yes.
Are they related to Foxtrot? Is that
Outfox
separate?
Hospitality is the new company after they bought Dom's. So they bought another company they merged with Dom's Kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm sure in some kind of like shady ass, I'm gonna bail you out deal. If you guys have been like, if anyone listening to this has been an entrepreneur long enough, you will have learned that like there are a lot of grifters and there are a lot of people that like, you know, they try to like sell my shares, like get out of this shit and like make a little bit of money and like you call my homie up and like hopefully he'll merge with my company so that I don't go bankrupt. That kind of nonsense. That's what this whole entire thing feels like. The whole entire grift, because it's a grift. Foxtrot was a grift. I'll walk you through what they are. So Foxtrot, back in like, I don't know, they were founded in like 2013, 16, something. 2015. Okay. So started in 2015. They said it was a 7-Eleven that was going to carry local brands.
In the markets it operated in. That was their goal.
A fucking 7-Eleven, guys. Like, what are we doing? Like, a 7-Eleven. Okay, so then a couple years later in 2018, they raised their first funding rounds. So they operate for 3 years, actually doing something that creates value. And then some VC, and this is my problem, some VC gave them $6 million.
And this was probably after they had like a couple stores.
Yeah, right. And they're doing some C-store stuff, and I don't know what the terms of the deal were, but like $6 million. Raising $6 million from a venture firm is not always a bad idea. But if you run retail stores, I would be hard-pressed to understand why, especially after WeWork. Anyone running retail, physical store, footprint, building, anything would raise from a venture capitalist. But, you know, that's what happened. And then a couple years later, they raised like $15 million or some shit like that. I'm not looking at their Crunchbase. I'm looking at an article. There is some smaller amount of money, but it's pretty significant as a Series B. Called it the Series B.
And all of this was just to open more stores.
Opening more stores. I'm assuming there was some kind of tech component that they pitched the VCs, because I'm having a hard time understanding why a venture capitalist put money into a retail chain that looked like 7-Eleven with no gas station. Let's get that out of the way. No gas station. And then in 2020, they did the pandemic nonsense and they raised $100 million.
Wow.
They didn't have 33 stores then, folks. They had like 20.
By that.
$100 million. I'm sure they weren't even doing $100 million in revenue, so that's hilarious. And I'm sure a bunch of it was secondary. Sorry if you're listening to this and you're a Foxtrot founder and you're mad that I am calling you out, because there's no way, unless you're completely bad with money, which I don't think you are, that it was all going to the company. $100 million to Foxtrot with 33 stores. There is no way they ran out. There's just no way.
Yeah,
there's physically impossible unless they took secondary. If you're not familiar with what secondary shares are, it's when I own shares of the entity and new investors want to buy shares. The entity can give them primary shares, so more shares. And then the entity, so like Foxtrot, gets money. But if you're a founder and people are clamoring to be a part of your company, you can sell secondary shares. So in a Series C, it'd be quite common for a founder to take some chips off the table. I can't even do this with a straight face. Some chips, they come off the table because you want to take your chips off the table if you're a founder, and so I'm sure they're good. Is all I'm saying, because that $100 million did not go to Foxtrot. I'm sure some of it did. I'm sure some of it didn't. And that's kind of how it happened, and that was in 2020. So then we were here, short 4 years later.
And basically what happened is all of the employees showed up to work yesterday.
Well, not yesterday, but yeah.
I think it was yesterday.
Oh, it was yesterday. I thought it was 2 days ago.
Well, this week. I think it was 2 days ago. The 23rd.
Yeah.
And they were told on the spot that all the stores were closing down, and then Foxtrot posted on social media, we're closing all of our stores.
Homie, they didn't even file bankruptcy. It was
bounced. Just like,
not even Chapter 11. They were just like, we're up.
Doors are locked. I have a lot of confusion around this situation. One,
I don't.
I know everybody's very quick to blame Foxtrot and the founders and whoever's running the show, blah, blah, blah. And of course they are to blame.
Me.
But this kind of takes me back to WeWork. It's like, don't release responsibility from the people who overvalued the company.
Oh no, yeah. So the investors are genuinely who are to blame because
who is putting $100 million into a limited SKU convenience store?
Clowns. Let's clown the investors. Clowns. Let's find them.
If you are an investor and you think it's smart to put in $100 million into a chain like this and expect it to work out,
because I got you. I have a beautiful concept.
Something better and profitable, yeah. Anyway, I think the blame has to be shared between investors, whoever's running the show, whoever's in the ears of the people running the company saying, take this money, spend it on this. So there's a lot of confusion here. How did it get valued like that? Why are people putting in so much money like that? Doesn't make sense to me. Should have raised a lot of red flags. I do feel very bad for the staff members who had no warning. I think even a 2-week warning, like, hey, you're going to have to find a new job, would have been great.
It would have been good.
I feel especially bad for the vendors like us. We're not in Foxtrot, but vendors like us who need to get paid for orders that were just placed. For things they just shipped to Foxtrot.
Not happening.
They're not going to get paid for it.
You'll have to look this up. I've been on Crunchbase too much. Just type in Crunchbase Foxtrot. I'm going to clown all of you.
So I feel bad for those people and what happened, but I don't think this was really a surprising situation. Do you think it's surprising, Jimmy?
No. I'll tell you why. Because Megan already told you. It's called WeWork. If you want to know the fun version, you go watch We Crashed on Apple TV. You'll learn something new about WeWork. If you don't know what WeWork is, stop living under a rock.
Bellion.
Get out of
I totally forgot that Bellion invested in Foxtrot in their Series C.
Guys.
We have friends at Bellion. We might need to reach out.
Guys. I'm going to clown you. I don't know what you were doing giving a retail store $100 million. Adam Newman got a bunch of clowns to give him a bunch of money, namely SoftBank, and he took all of it. Adam Newman actually ended up with so much money because of the secondary deal and getting fired. He is trying to buy WeWork again right now as we speak. He'll probably succeed. He will be the full owner of WeWork. So maybe that's what should have happened to Foxtrot. They should have filed Chapter 11. The founders could have taken all that secondary money, recapitalized it, and then they could own all of it. Sorry, investors, that you just gave them the bag, because they definitely got the bag.
Yeah.
If you're mad at me for posting this, you can message me and be like, hey, I didn't give them the bag. They didn't get any secondary. But until someone shows me the receipts, until someone's like, oh, they didn't get any secondary. They got secondary.
Yeah,
this dude's on a yacht in Lake Michigan off Chicago being like, I sold secondary. Why does he have a yacht? I'll tell you why. Because he's on Lake Michigan on his yacht with his secondary bag in a chest like a pirate. That dude is there, and you're sitting in your office as a VC like, oh no, we did it again. WeWork, guys. WeWork, now Foxtrot. And then I can't even wait to see what other shoes drop over the next 5 years. Like, stop giving money to dumb things, and then you won't give me money. That's hilarious. That's funny.
It seems like they're so into giving money to like these ideas.
Clowns.
Ideas. Nothing that's been executed well. And it's like, why don't you want to see execution?
They don't want to see
product that sells.
Well, they just don't want to see profitable execution. You see, you can mask all kinds of shit with $100 million. What you could do, actually, is you can absorb $100 million in losses while expanding, and your revenue will go up, and your losses will go, well, they'll go up, but they'll look like this. And then eventually, as your revenue climbs and your losses go like this, you go out of business. And then you get to be really proud of that giant revenue number while you're sitting in bankruptcy court with your lawyers wondering what went wrong. Because that's actually what went wrong. You're a clown. Stop being a clown. Like, clowns. Who else is in this shit?
Well, I can't see all the things. I think I have
Fifth Wall. Imaginary Ventures. Are you fucking me?
Okay,
Imaginary Ventures? You imagine some shit that doesn't, it's not real. You're crazy. I'm sorry, but like Imaginary Ventures, I hope the fund blows up because of this. That's ridiculous. Imaginary Ventures, you're an imaginary venture. The worst part about VCs, I have nothing against good VCs. Good VCs are great. They're usually past operators who know what they're doing. They would never, ever give Foxtrot money. They wouldn't give WeWork money. These people exist. They didn't give them money. They said no, actually. There's a lot of people that said no to these companies. I guarantee it. And they probably laughed at them because I'm not giving $100 million to a convenience store that looks like 7-Eleven and, you know, doesn't move the same kind of volume. So I don't know what that is. But what I will say is that there are good VCs. They're past operators. They usually are very, very strategic about how they manage their money, and they create great returns, and they create a great ecosystem of entrepreneurs that can succeed and grow and build and exit companies like Klaviyo or, I don't know, Uber, which is profitable heavily right now. And by the way, it was always going to be. It's a good idea. Airbnb, great idea. By the way, these are all software companies. Let's go with like CPG. There's great CPG companies. Dots Pretzels sold for $1.2 billion. Guess what? They didn't get VC money. So I'm just saying, in the consumer space specifically, there don't seem to be a lot of VCs that know what they're doing. I would venture to guess it's because every time I look at a VC fund in a consumer space, there is not one exited founder. Not one. There's no David Sachs of consumer VC. There's no Jason Kalakinakis of consumer VC. Please, and if you're a consumer VC and you have an exit, you could like DM me or bitch or comment in the comment section. I have an exit. That's fine. But I'm just saying, like, most of you don't. And most of you are making bad bets. That's all. And a lot of you also are betting on these like random like West Coast trends. I'm on a rant, but like, dude, West Coast trends. Let's talk about it. Fake meat. We got fake meat. We got the vegan trend. Now we get the carnivore trend. I can't wait for there to be like a random like jerky company that goes out of business because you gave them $1 billion. You got robot pizza in the van. They got $400 million from SoftBank. You got, I mean, dude, name the clown company. Like, I don't know what's happening. Then you have other people that are like doing some stuff that like they sell good food, they're doing their thing, like they're growing, and like they're not clowns, but they're not getting any money, and I don't even understand that. But it's also, I guess, driven by the ecosystem of other clowns inside of their clown bubble that are talking about their clown trends and what they want to do with their lives and how they're going to change the world, and everyone's going to eat bugs and live in a rock. I don't know. But
yeah,
like,
which isn't going to happen. I think the issue is that it's gotten a little too personal. Like, I've spoken to someone who like wouldn't invest in our company or similar companies because it has like soy in it or something.
Yeah.
Like, news
soy.
Flash, the
you clowning
of
around?
Americans eat soy. So whether you as a very small minority do or don't doesn't matter. That's not what makes a successful investment.
Yeah.
What makes a successful investment is the product that appeals to the most people.
EBITDA.
Middle America, the population that's buying the everyday product.
Also generating EBITDA.
Not the niche amount of people who are spending $30 on a smoothie at Erewhon. Like, that's not sustainable. That's not.
Don't get me started.
Majority people don't invest in Erewhon.
Christ,
they're
God.
raising money.
If one more.
That's a good indicator of that.
It's fine, guys. It's fine. I have one last closing thought on the Foxtrot thing that I think is really important. There's no such thing as a tech company that doesn't make tech. Yes. Stop investing in non-tech companies like they are tech companies, or you will keep losing hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes. And
people will lose their jobs, and they'll be sad, and they'll cry, and that's bad. Don't do that. Anyways.
So we'll probably revisit Foxtrot. If you have comments about all the things that we've said in this episode, please send us a message or comment.
No, comment. Let's start a comment section.
Let's start something engaging. But
yeah,
we'll address things, and as we learn more, we'll definitely address it and kind of straighten things out as the news breaks.
The only thing I'll straighten out is if they didn't take secondary, I'm actually really sad for the founders.
Yeah, that would be an unfortunate situation.
I genuinely actually hope they took secondary because good for them. The investors, clowns. Like, I don't even, the founders had a vision, they operated, they tried their best probably. I hope they got secondary. And honestly, they probably kind of knew what they were doing in the sense that, like, they knew it was overvalued.
Yeah.
That's another reason you would sell secondary. If someone came to me today, where No Baked is at currently, I'm going to tell you what our sales are, but let's just say they said, I'll give you $100 million valuation. I'd say, buy all my shares right now. Or whatever would not, like, you know, freak them out. Because it'd be like, great, $100 million. Like, don't know what we're doing to make that, but sick.
And whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, so, like, I hope the founders sold secondary. Good for them if they did. If they didn't, then I'm sorry, because that sucks.
All right, so we'll revisit Foxtrot. Please comment with any info you have, and we will continue getting info. But those are just our initial thoughts. The other super hot topic this week for everybody is that the bill banning TikTok or requiring that ByteDance sell to an American company passed. It has
Sleepy Joe
by the president. This is a very hot topic. I have seen opinions on all sides. I've seen
good opinions.
Yeah, I think honestly in this case everybody's opinion is a little bit valid. But I think I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about it.
You do? Then why don't you tell us about them?
Well, first off, I hate TikTok. And I think I should get that out of the way. I used to be a TikTok scroller. I mean, I used to love sitting on TikTok at night scrolling. And then I realized that I think TikTok, even though people say, you know, it's actually the opposite, is what people will say. I think TikTok wants people to believe a certain thing. I think they want them to be on a certain side.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think there's a lot of propaganda on TikTok.
There's a lot of anti-Semitic content on TikTok.
Yeah, current present day, there's a lot of anti-Semitic content, pro-Palestinian content, which if that's all good, if that's what you're looking for. But even back in like 2020, it's like you were only seeing certain sides of things. I think there's a lot of people who say like TikTok is the one like uncurated social media that we have left.
No, that would be X, but that's fine.
It's definitely X for sure. But people say TikTok is not controlled by someone, so you get to see everything as if it's not filtered. And I feel confident that's just not the case. I think the fact that it is owned by a Chinese company is actually an issue.
Yeah, there is a Communist Party representative in the office at ByteDance.
Right.
And the CEO of ByteDance has to do whatever he tells him to. that's just part of the way they do shit.
And I think a lot of people here in America are taking it as like they're taking away like our freedom to post and to see whatever we want to see and blah blah blah. Like,
how about this?
It's about America controlling the citizens, but personally, I think it's a homeland security issue.
Yeah, for sure. But also, they're going to divest. TikTok's still going to exist in the United States. I don't know what your guys' problem is. No, they're not going to let Meta buy it. Have you seen the FTC lately? Yeah. They hate mergers, so like they'll just. I mean, I have no idea who's going to buy it. To be completely honest, maybe Snapchat buys it, but
someone probably could and should here in America, and that would be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But people's argument against it is that then it will be censored and, you know, controlled and all this stuff. But it already is. It's just not controlled by America. It's controlled by someone that's a lot scarier and that is really pushing people to believe certain things.
I would agree. I'd say that people bitch about the algorithm too. And like, unfortunately, like when ByteDance sells TikTok, like they're going to have to give that algorithm over to the new owner. So don't like assume the algorithm's going to get bad. Also, you don't even half of you that talk about the algorithm, actually more than half, like 80% of you, I'm sorry, don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know what I'm talking about. You're all like the algorithm. And then there'll be all these people that like seem to know what the algorithm is. Dude, it's literally just like how they decide what videos to show you. The idea that like it's better or worse than like Meta's or YouTube's or whoever's is marginal and nominal, and probably the gap is going to close at some point. The idea that they would somehow be able to stay out in front of predicting what videos people want to see of everyone else is absurd, because it's not a moving target.
Yeah.
It's a closed target. Like there's only so good you can get at like addicting people. So if you love being addicted and that's why you're so upset that you're not going to be as addicted anymore, that's
concerning.
It's fucking strange.
If you think you're not going to like TikTok as much, and you're upset about that, then that's a problem that you need to work on, because if people liked TikTok less, the world would be much better.
You should probably delete all social media off your phone and go to a camp.
You might have an issue.
Take some mushrooms.
I think people just have a skewed vision of like TikTok as it fits into the world, and I do think it's a national security move. And I think people who don't understand that maybe should just let things play out and not be so passionately against the ban.
I'll steel man your argument.
Okay.
I think that this is just another sign. I mean, if you were to like take the other side, like it is just another sign of the government controlling most media in the United States. And like the only place you really can get like opposition media, even if it is controlled in the opposite direction, is on TikTok. So it is kind of like weird that like our government seems to be doing sort of the same thing.
Yeah, as China.
Yeah.
Yeah, for reference, guys, because I think some people don't know this, the Chinese population of people does not have access to the things we do.
Oh, they don't have Facebook.
You're not going to go to China and see citizens scrolling through Facebook or like an American media platform.
They don't have Google either.
There's no access there, and I'm not saying that America should be like that and not have access to other countries' products or whatever. But I think you kind of have to look past the whole, like, oh, my government wants to control everything I consume, and realize that sometimes it's better that way. Like, the CCP should not have their hands in our pockets, period. And sometimes what we consume does need to be controlled. Like, if they banned Red 40, for example, I'm not going to freak out because I can't eat a certain food.
I would honestly be happy if they banned Red 40 everywhere.
There are some measures of control that are okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, fair. I don't think it's the popular opinion that people are happy about the TikTok ban, but I think TikTok can sell these shares. They cannot be majority owned by China anymore, and everybody can still use TikTok, and that's a great compromise.
Yeah.
I think, again, if you're like so deeply concerned that TikTok is going to be banned because you want to still consume it, then you have a problem. If you're concerned that it's going to be banned because of all the creators on there that make money, that's a valid concern. And if I were them, I would be working really hard to try to make money on a different platform.
I wouldn't worry about it. TikTok will be divested and your revenue stream will not be affected. So also, if you're a brand that has presence on TikTok, like, don't worry. Like, you're going to keep it.
As opposed to just letting it be banned.
100%. And there's one thing that's real.
They're challenged.
Yeah, that's some nonsense. The CCP is angry that we did something unconstitutional.
They are claiming that it's unconstitutional, which is just funny to me.
Yeah, like with what? Let's apply your constitution to it, motherfucker. But anyways, which you don't have. I don't think people should be worried. I do think they'll divest it. The reason why is, at the end of the day, economics genuinely runs the way people make decisions globally. It always has. Like, if you follow the money, you'll usually be able to see like why something's probably happening. Like, why do we keep passing bills to support Ukraine and Israel and everyone else? Like, go check where the money is actually going. It's going to like weapons manufacturers in Alabama. It's not going to Israel and Ukraine. So like we put money in our own pocket and like in pockets of people we like pretty often in government. Also in like private business, like people are going to do what they're incentivized to do. Foxtrot. People are incentivized to deploy LP capital at the VC level. So they have to do deals. They do bigger and bigger and bigger deals because you have to deploy capital. They're incentivized because they get management fees on deployed capital. Management fees, guys, not just performance fees. So they're incentivized to do these deals. And then on the founder side, like what? If I came to you with $100 million, you're going to say no? You're going to say no. I wouldn't even say no. Even if I didn't know what to do with it, I would probably take it. If it ends up looking like a good deal, and then selling secondary, like why would I sell secondary? Well, I want money. Like everyone else on earth. Like China's president, who I can't pronounce the fucking name of, President Xi, came here to San Francisco to meet with Biden to America earlier this year because China's out of money. And they're not like out, but like their economy is not doing well. And the trade war that we've like started with them when Trump was president hasn't exactly gone in their favor. And COVID didn't exactly go in their favor for those of you that think they like planned it or something. That wasn't good for China. China's not in a good place. China's going to divest. I mean, not China, but like ByteDance is going to divest because economically, why would you eliminate or like vaporize $300 billion in like market cap?
Yeah, I don't think they will.
Yeah, you're gonna find someone that will buy it from you for $300 billion. Like, yeah, that's just the case. Like, you're not going to be like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like, do I want this money? Do I not want? Of course you do. Everyone does. By the way, like the U.S. is still the only investable market on earth. Still the only place on earth with trillion-dollar companies in the stock market. Still the only place on earth with like true innovation. Like, there is no other like replacement for us yet. There's no replacement for the U.S. dollar. There's no replacement for being on the money train with the United States. China is not replacing us anytime soon. They're coming here and asking us to do business with them because they're poor. So, like, yeah, they're going to divest. And they're going to do whatever we ask them to. And for everyone that's, like, going to, like, be like, oh, no, what are we going to do? Like, I'm sorry to be, like, rah-rah America all the time, but, like, we're in a proxy war with Russia, funding random wars across the globe, screwing around at home, screwing around with the China nonsense, and somehow still so light years ahead of any other nation as far as like their developing economy, that like people will only invest money here. They're still buying U.S. government bonds. By the way, our government debt can only go up if people keep borrowing. So like, or if keep buying them. So like we can only keep borrowing if there's buyers. There are people to actually buy the bonds. Guess who's buying the bonds? Everybody else. Why? Because they need U.S. dollars. That's why. Because they need U.S. dollars to do trade. Because they can't fucking get off the money train that is the United States. They'll divest. They have no option. They're going to be like, great, we get $300 billion. Dollars is the key. They don't need 300 billion like rubles or whatever the fuck else they could get. Like no one wants that. They want dollars. Go to like a drug dealer in South America. What do they want? They want gold. They want U.S. dollars in briefcases. It's like I don't even understand why people get hung up on this stuff when it's so obvious why we do the things we do. The only time it's not obvious is when you look at the U.S. Congress or like certain politicians and you're like, now we've gone beyond arguing about like money and we're going to argue about like nonsense. And we're only going to argue about that because it's the only thing we have left to argue about. Because everyone's aligned on money. Like if you look across both parties, like Democrats, Republicans, like look at the TikTok bill and tell me like who voted for it. Because it's everyone.
Yeah.
They're aligned on certain stuff. And like,
so,
here we are.
I think honestly it will turn out being a good thing. I think ByteDance probably will divest and then
they're going to get a bag. They're going to get a bag. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I don't know what will happen to the algorithm, but I feel confident that everyone will be fine.
Yeah. I guess, and if you're like an employee with like stock options or RSUs, like maybe you'll get a bag. Maybe you'll get a bag. Why are you sad?
For everybody.
Don't be upset. you're going to get money, and then you're going to keep your job too because you'll be working for a new employer. So, I mean, dope.
Yeah.
You get liquidity.
I think we'll probably revisit the TikTok stuff too as it kind of evolves. And as
I have one last topic, which got announced this morning. And like the meme that I posted on my story, it made the Democrat leave my body.
Oh, I saw that.
Joe Biden, in all of his wisdom, Sleepy Joe, said that he wants to tax capital gains at 45%. Guys, for those of you that own small businesses or private businesses or your VCs or private equity people or like, you invest money at all in like private companies, this is bad. Really bad. Because I probably won't make any money. If we're being completely honest, like we're not going to make any significant money until we sell the company. We're not going to make money from running it. We're never going to make that high of a salary. We're going to reinvest all of the cash that No Baked makes probably back into No Baked. It's never going to No Baked's never going to give. It's going to take away. That's what it does. It'll grow and grow and grow, and you need to feed the beast. And a lot of other private companies are like that too. So the founders and the investors and a lot of everyone else won't make any money until the very end. And the fact that you want to disincentivize entrepreneurs from building companies by doubling the amount of tax they'll pay upon the sale is stupid. Please don't.
I'm confused as to why he would make such a proposal in an election year as well. So
I just changed my vote. So I don't know how many other people are going to change their votes because of the TikTok ban. There'll be a bunch of Gen Z kids that are like, screw you, man. You'll probably vote for Trump or something.
Even though Trump originally was the one who came up with
yeah,
TikTok.
people are stupid. People are stupid. But
that doesn't seem like a good move though.
Yeah, can't do that, man. Can't do that. Hopefully it doesn't get done by the end of the year. Probably won't. And good luck because that just sunk the election cycle for every Democratic candidate.
All right, kids, we'll be back next week with more hot topics. Until then, don't forget to comment with your thoughts. I feel like this is a pretty hot one. So
yeah, bye.
Bye.